Last thing we're going to talk about is the Brotherhood return, but this will also touch upon some book stuff. So it's the same book stuff we talked about a couple weeks ago. So yeah, there's your warning that we're going to delve into stuff from the books that they have not included on the show, but maybe they will. So, all right.
Before you go in,
yeah.
Do you think that they're ever going to do Lady Stoneheart?
See, I keep going back and forth because I was with a lot of people that recent events seem to be aiming there more and more, right? And we talked about like, okay, they're bringing up Caitlin, they're bringing up a lot of things around her so much then they name drop the Brotherhood. What we didn't mention, because we had a long, we talked about Lady Stoneheart a couple weeks ago. What we didn't talk about was last week when the specifics of Brother Ray being killed. A lot of people are like, oh, he was hung. And in the books, that's like Lady Stoneheart, what happens with her and when she's leading the Brotherhood. So a lot of people thought that when they actually caught up to the Brotherhood, she'd already be with them. Mm-hmm. And then this episode, that's not happening, right? So that kind of undercuts the like, oh, maybe they're not. I still feel maybe it all goes back to that, what we don't have the answer to, which is when they talk to George R. R. Martin, with Benioff and Weiss. What did he tell them about like the long-term plan for Lady Stoneheart, and was it important enough that she has to come in or not?
Yeah, I mean, I came to I remember in season 3, I was like, if they don't do it now, they'll never do it.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it. And I feel like every season there's been something that builds back a little bit of hope. Yeah. And then even this year, I was like, I had given up all hope, and I'm at the point though, I don't want them to do it. And when it was Beric, and my big issue with the Brotherhood last week, and that I was like, oh, maybe they've setting up this.
They've turned their back on any ideals they had.
Exactly. Yeah. And so for it to be Beric and say these guys were using our name improperly, and then they did that thing with the Hound where they decided who to kill. I liked that, and I liked it better than Lady Stoneheart because I stand by that. The Lady Stoneheart reveal came at such an important point in that story. Yeah. It was so needed, this reincarnation of revenge, even if she hasn't done that much since, or that much that we know of. For it to happen now would feel very fan servicey, and it would come in a season where so many characters have been brought back to the dead, really lack impact, I think, because of that. And also, I don't know if the idea of this modeled, slightly decomposing Catelyn who needs to shove her fingers into the hole in her throat to speak through, walking zombie rage machine, will translate as well on this show as it does with that really gruesome sort of even horror tinged imagery that we have in the books.
Yeah. I agree with. I don't need it, right?
Yeah.
And there was this season was the first time that I thought, oh, maybe they are simply it's like cold hands coming in and things that they had felt like they'd skipped. There was a lot of, and then bringing up the past so much, I started to think, but I don't need it. I don't think it's necessary. It's people are excited about it for the reveal. In a way, they're excited about it for. Book readers, I should say, in the way that they're excited for the Red Wedding and things, to watch people's faces who haven't read the book, right? It's like, oh my God, they're gonna freak. But outside of that, I don't know if it's necessary,
I loved these scenes with the Hound and him coming back in contact with Beric, because I had forgotten that the last time they saw each other, he did kill Beric. Yeah. And you just get the sense, a lot. And I love that they acknowledge that, and he's like, whatever, I would have killed you before you had this Lord of Light guy on your side. I love that everyone feels tired. They sit down and the Hound and Beric and Thoros, they're just tired. They're like, what? There's no point in sure, you kill this guy, and that sort of thing. And also that Beric Dondarrion and Thoros Amir are the Brotherhood are the only people other than Jon's whole crew that knows hey, there are cold winds coming from the north. There's a bigger battle yet to come. Finally.
Right.
And the fact that the last episode of this season is called The Winds of Winter, I feel like that harkens a little bit. And after our complaining last week, sorry, I'm talking so much, but I'm very excited about this. We were like, why bring back the Hound? Why spend so much time with him? For him to go and be a part of this war, and for Beric echoing what Brother Ray said to him, you still have a good fight left in you. You still can have a role to play if you want to be a part of this. Makes me appreciate more how much time we spent on him last week and the fact they're bringing him back.
And also, I was one of those people who was like, I don't know, the whole Clegane Bowl thing like sounds fan servicey,
Yeah.
right? And so I didn't need that either. And this is much more interesting to me. Like if he joins the Brotherhood, whether officially or just walking with them, and goes to the north to fight is more interesting, because again, it's like another reason we don't think Clegane Bowl is happening is like he's not going to King's Landing,
Right.
Not only is trial by combat not a thing anymore, but he's not even going to the right place. This is more interesting, if the Hound sort of finds his purpose here, fighting alongside them, aiming towards, inevitably some form of giant group team up that I think has to happen.
Okay, so you also think they're going to head north in that direction?
Yeah, I mean they imply it, and it's like the Hound doesn't end the episode saying I'm on board, but
right.
I think
barring Sansa like dying in next week's episode, I'm like emotional just thinking about it. The Hound and Sansa reunion.
Yeah,
I think that could be like one of the most beautiful things that the show has ever done. And going back to the Jaime thing, his comment to Brienne of, "Oh, I didn't think that she would, live this long. In my experiences, girls like her don't." And Brienne's reaction, "You don't know."
Yeah.
Girls like her, I can't imagine many things. Obviously, Sansa and Arya reunion, but I can't imagine many things more emotionally charged than those two characters coming back together. And I hope that we get to see it happen.
I hope so too, and that's one of what's one of the great things about the Hound, and that's why to me, the Hound's gonna go back to King's Landing, he's gonna fight the Mountain and beat him. Okay, I get like the coolness of that, but the Hound's most interesting interesting stuff has been his interaction with other characters, like in his relationships. His relationship with Arya, which was amazing, but also there was that stuff with Sansa too. So I don't know. I just feel like, where they're going is more interesting now, I think, than what we thought last week.
Yeah,
so.
Eric Goldman and Terri Schwartz, slayers of Clegane Bowl Heights. I do. We'll wrap up that, and if you do have any question or any comments about it, what your thoughts on the Brotherhood reveal and Lady Stoneheart not being where we went, we definitely want to hear from you. But I wanted to bring up something new that we haven't even talked about off camera yet. Varys. Varys has this moment where he goes off and has a secret mission that we don't know about. Do you have any theories, any thoughts? I've been thinking about that when we were talking about the Tyrion stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. This is another rogue agent out there.
Yeah, that was an odd one to me because he's been gone from anywhere else for so long. So it's hard to could he go back to King's Landing, or could it be Littlefinger, who he had a weird sort of almost. Dueling schemers relationship with, I don't know.
It's interesting because unless he has like a speed ship that is going to get him back to King's Landing from Marine in the next 20 minutes, if we're right about our wildfire theory, there might not be a King's Landing left for him to go back to, and so I am almost wondering, do you think he's going to go to Volantis, which is where he might meet up with Yara, or even, I don't know, I just really want the show to do Valyria. They did a little bit with Jorah and Tyrion last season, but I would love for Varys to go to Valyria and find out some secret to magic and dragons and everything there.
I could see him, whether or not he goes there or not, I could definitely see him running into maybe a character he hasn't seen before, and Sam or someone out there. I think we're getting more and more of these characters crossing paths who haven't before.
Yeah.
So I think that's inevitable. So.